Have you ever noticed something strange? The most dangerous people are often the quietest ones in the room. They're not loud, they're not desperate to be seen. They observe, they calculate, and when they move, everyone else freezes. This isn't weakness, it's not shyness, it's strategic silence, and it's a weapon the modern world has forgotten. While others spill their minds, you will learn to control yours. Because silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of power. It's what the Stoics mastered and what manipulators fear. It creates mystery, demands respect, and forces people to question what you're truly capable of. In this video, we'll explore 10 brutal situations where your silence won't just protect you, it'll elevate you. So if you're ready to become more focused, more feared, and more powerful, like this video and comment this phrase right now: "My silence builds my empire." Let's see who's listening in a world obsessed with noise. Now, let's begin. Number 1. When you're angry, never speak with fire. When anger rises, silence becomes your shield, because the moment you speak with rage, you give away control. You say things you don't mean. You burn bridges you'll later need. And worse, you reveal your weakness. The Stoics taught, you always have the power to not have an opinion. And in anger, this is your lifeline. Dark psychology exploits emotional outbursts. When they can predict your reaction, they can control your behavior. So instead of yelling back, go quiet. Let the fire burn inside, but never leak out of your mouth. Because the one who stays calm while insulted wins the real war. While they scream to feel powerful, you say nothing, and watch how their voice fades into insecurity. If you've ever stayed silent in the face of chaos, comment, "My calm is louder than their chaos." That's how you rise. Silently. Number 2. When you're being provoked. The trap of reaction. There are people who don't want to win an argument. They want to pull you down into the mud with them. They poke, they produce, they say things just sharp enough to trigger you. And if you respond, they own you. This is why the Stoic remains still. Because every reaction is a confession. The more you react, the more you reveal. The silent man, however, is dangerous. He sees the game. He doesn't play it. He lets the fool rant while he holds his power like a dagger behind his back. In dark psychology, this is called tactical restraint. It keeps your opponent guessing, it makes them uncomfortable, and most of all, it keeps you in control. So next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, silence isn't submission, it's strategy. Drop this in the comments if you agree. They can't trigger what I've mastered. Let them swing, you don't flinch. Number 3. When everyone is bragging, stay low, hit hard. When the room is full of mouths trying to prove something, stay silent. Because the loudest in the room is rarely the strongest. Real power doesn't need validation. It doesn't scream. It executes. The Stoic walks with quiet confidence. He doesn't advertise his goals, he achieves them. He doesn't explain his worth, he becomes undeniable. Dark psychology understands this too. When you talk too much, you give them the blueprint to attack you, but when you say nothing, they don't know what to target. So when everyone's busy inflating their egos, you stay low, you observe. Then when it's time, you strike with precision. Let them flaunt their dreams. You'll show up with results. If this hits you, comment now. Silence is my flex. Let others waste breath. You conserve power. Number 4. When you know more than they think, weaponize mystery. There's power in being underestimated. When they assume you're average, quiet, unaware, you hold the upper hand. You know the game, you see the patterns, but you don't speak. You watch. The Stoics practice this art relentlessly because true wisdom isn't loud. It's quiet, calculated, patient. In dark psychology, this is called concealed intelligence. The more you reveal, the more predictable you become. But when you say less, they walk into your silence blindfolded. Let them believe they're smarter. Let them assume you're naive. They'll never see you coming. You already know how the story ends. But you never give away the plot. If you understand this, drop it in the comments right now. My silence is my strategy, because when they don't know what you know, you control the outcome. Number 5. When someone betrays you, show no pain. Betrayal cuts deep. But the moment you show pain, they win twice. Once when they betrayed you, and again when they see it broke you. A Stoic doesn't flinch when wronged. He bleeds behind the curtain. Because emotions are internal affairs, not public currency. Dark psychology thrives on feedback. When your enemies see their betrayal shattered you, they feel powerful, important, effective. But when you stay silent, when your face doesn't twitch, when your words remain few and calm, they begin to wonder if they ever had power over you at all. This is the mindset of the unshaken, the one who turns pain into polish. If you've ever kept quiet while the world expected your collapse, comment, "My silence buries betrayal," because real revenge doesn't shout, it watches and levels up. Number 6. When you're being watched, the silent strategist. Let me ask you a question. When you walk into a room, do you talk to be heard, or do you stay quiet to be felt? Because here's the truth most people avoid. You're always being watched. By your enemies, by your so-called friends, by silent competitors who would rather see you fall than rise. And when they watch you, what are they really looking for? They're not observing out of curiosity. They're studying your flaws, your emotions. They're waiting for signs of weakness, signs of self-doubt, signs they can exploit. And this is where silence becomes your superpower, because when you're being watched, silence isn't absence, it's presence, it's control, it's a message. I don't need to explain myself, I don't need to impress you, I just need to win. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, understood this deeply. They moved through the world quietly, intentionally, not because they were passive, but because they were powerful enough to resist the urge to speak. They believed in the inner citadel, a place in your mind that cannot be touched, no matter who's watching, judging, or provoking you. That's the fortress you build in silence. And when it's complete, nothing penetrates it. See, most people crumble under observation. When they know someone's watching, they start adjusting their behavior. They talk more, reveal more, try to prove themselves, and that's exactly when they give away their strategy. But when you don't speak, when you sit still, unreadable, they can't pin you down. They don't know your next move. They don't even know what game you're playing. This is what dark psychology calls strategic opacity, the art of being untraceable, unpredictable, unshakable. And it drives people crazy, because humans crave clarity. They want to know your intentions so they can prepare for them, manipulate them, control them. But when you're silent, all they get is smoke. They start projecting their own fears, doubts, and insecurities onto your stillness. They begin asking themselves, why isn't he reacting? Is he hiding something? Is he watching me back? Yes, you are. And you're doing it without wasting a single word. The man who can sit silently in a room full of noise wins the room, because stillness is strength, because presence without performance disturbs people. Here's what happens when you master this. People start walking on eggshells around you. They overthink every word they say to you. They become cautious, unsure, uncomfortable. You don't need to raise your voice to command respect. You just need to say less and mean more. Remember, the lion doesn't roar when it's hunting. It moves in silence, then it strikes. You are that lion. So when you feel the spotlight hit you, whether it's in a room, a workplace, an online space, don't shrink, but don't perform either. Don't give them what they expect. Give them nothing. Let them fill in the blanks. Let them imagine your next move. That's how you stay 10 steps ahead, by never telegraphing your direction. The people who talk the most are the easiest to predict. The people who stay silent are the hardest to defeat. And the best part? Your silence makes people feel like they've missed something. Something important, something powerful, something dangerous. That's influence without effort. That's intimidation without aggression. That's what separates the common from the cold-blooded. If you've ever stayed quiet while others cracked under pressure, if you've ever let your results speak louder than your opinions, then you already know this is true. So here's your creed. Lock it in. Say it out loud. Or better yet, type it in the comments so the world knows you live by it. Let them watch. I move in silence. Say it again. Let them watch. I move in silence. Let them guess, let them doubt, let them run their mouths. Your silence will become their obsession, because silence isn't passive, it's calculated. It's the highest level of control, and when the whole world is busy trying to be loud and seen, you become powerful by doing the opposite. So the next time eyes are on you, whether it's the jealous friend, the fake supporter, or the hater praying you fall, don't flinch, don't speak, just move in silence, like a shadow that can't be touched but always sees. Because the man who's feared isn't the one who talks the most, it's the one who doesn't need to. Number 7, when you're planning revenge, speak nothing, think ruthless. Let's make something clear. Revenge is not chaos. It's not emotional. It's not loud. It's not immediate. Revenge is discipline. It's silent, it's calculated, and it's earned. The Stoics never told you not to defend yourself. They told you to master your response, to delay it until you hold every advantage, to strike only when the silence has become unbearable for your enemy. Because here's what you must understand. The man who screams, "I'll get you back," is already weak. He's showing his hand, he's emotional, predictable, easy to stop. But the man who says nothing, he's dangerous, because no one sees him coming. He walks away, not because he's afraid, but because he's loading the next move in his mind. Silence before action, that's Stoic warfare. When someone wrongs you, betrays you, disrespects you, say nothing. Don't go crying to others. Don't post about it. Don't rant. Don't try to make them feel guilty. Instead, observe, detach, and plan. Dark psychology teaches this too. In the art of manipulation, predictability is weakness. Once your enemy knows what you'll do, they've already won. But when you go dark, mentally vanish from their awareness, you enter a space of terrifying power. They wonder, why hasn't he reacted? Is he done with me? Is he planning something? You create mental chaos in their mind. They start checking their back. They start doubting their choices. They become haunted by your silence. This is psychological warfare at its finest. The storm you never announce, just deliver. But make no mistake, this isn't about petty revenge. It's about calculated correction. You don't get even with words. You get even with outcomes. You don't show them pain. You show them progress. You don't respond to disrespect. You build a life so powerful, they choke on the silence you left behind. The best revenge isn't yelling at the door they closed on you. It's becoming the storm that kicks down the next 5. So when someone tries to sabotage you, tries to break your spirit, tries to play you for a fool, go quiet, become the observer, gather every lesson, and build your response like a weapon forged in patience. When the time is right, when you're better, stronger, smarter, richer. You don't explain what happened. You become the answer to the insult they thought you'd never overcome. And here's the beautiful part. Most of the time you won't even have to act. Your silence, your distance, your rise will do the speaking for you. Let them think they won. Let them brag. Let them laugh. Let them enjoy the illusion of victory. And while they celebrate, you sharpen your discipline in the shadows. You grow, you evolve, you level up in silence, until one day they see you again, and you're unrecognizable. Not bitter, not angry, not seeking closure, just elevated. And that's when they realize you didn't get revenge. You became someone they'll never reach again. That's the highest form of domination, and it starts with silence. If this resonates with the warrior inside you, I want you to comment this right now. Silence is my sharpest weapon. Say it again. Silence is my sharpest weapon. Because when you speak, they expect. When you're silent, they fear. So plan your revenge like a master strategist. Think ruthless, move silent, and let your transformation be the violence. Number 8. When you're about to win, let silence be the roar. There comes a moment in every warrior's journey, a moment when you're inches away from victory. You've done the work, you've bled, you've suffered in silence while they laughed, while they doubted you, while they watched you from above thinking you'd never rise. And now you're rising. But here's the mistake 99% of people make at this point. They start talking, they get cocky, they leak their plans, they brag about what's coming, and just like that, they lose their edge, because real winners don't announce the kill, they deliver it. The Stoics had a code. Don't talk about your philosophy. Embody it. Don't declare victory before the battle is over. Don't celebrate the mountain while you're still climbing. Let your silence echo louder than 1,000 promises. You see, the moment you start talking about your success before it's secured, you open yourself up. You become vulnerable to distraction, jealousy, sabotage, and worst of all, your own ego. Ego wants applause before impact. Discipline wants impact without applause. So when you feel the wind coming, when you're about to close that deal, launch that business, drop that project, change your life, say nothing, keep it moving, keep it grinding, keep your head down and your standards up. Because if you do it right, you won't need to tell the world you're winning. They'll feel it without a word. Dark psychology confirms this. Anticipation is more powerful than disclosure. People don't fear what they can see coming. They fear what they can't predict. So become that silence before the quake. Become the calm before the storm. When your breakthrough is near, go even quieter. Let them believe you disappeared. Let them think you gave up. Let them assume they were right about you, and then arrive like thunder. Let your success speak in a language no insult can argue with. Let your discipline roar in the results. Remember, winners aren't loud, winners aren't flashy, winners are invisible until they're undeniable. So if you're in that final phase, if you feel it, if you know that everything you've been silently building is about to erupt, don't waste energy announcing it. Double down, focus harder, seal the win in private, and when the results hit the surface, they'll speak for themselves. Let the doubters realize you weren't talking for a reason. Let the snakes realize they lost track of your scent. Let the people who dismissed you freeze in confusion when you pass them without a sound. Because the man who's about to win has no time for words. He's already planning his next move. If you feel this level of power inside you, comment below. I let my silence roar when I win. Say it again and mean it. I let my silence roar when I win. Because the moment you make noise, you invite interference. But the moment you go quiet, you let destiny unfold without distraction. Let your silence be the drumbeat of your dominance. Let your victory speak without you saying a word. Number 9, when you're growing in power, let them doubt, let them talk. There's a strange thing that happens when you begin to level up. People don't always cheer, they don't always support. In fact, many start to whisper. They question you, mock you, doubt you, not because you're failing, but because they feel your power rising and it intimidates them. You're changing, you're getting sharper, stronger, quieter, and people who once saw you as predictable now realize they can't figure you out. This is when you must go even more silent, because when you're growing in power, the worst thing you can do is explain yourself. You don't need to justify your hustle. You don't need to convince anyone of your vision. You don't need to respond to doubt with words. Respond with elevation. The Stoics knew that when a man begins to master himself, he becomes offensive to the undisciplined. They called this the weight of virtue. The stronger you grow, the more resistance you attract. Not because you're wrong, but because you're a mirror. You reflect what others lack. So what do? They talk, they gossip, they try to pull you back into small thinking. They mock the silence they can't understand. But let them laugh. Let them assume. Let them stay comfortable while you stay focused. Dark psychology calls this dominant contrast, where your silent progress creates internal insecurity in those who've chosen stagnation. They can't match your discipline, so they attack your process. They can't handle your detachment, so they call it arrogance. They can't keep up with your momentum, so they hope you'll slow down just to please them. But that's not your job. Your job is to vanish into your mission. Your job is to disappear into your next evolution, because if you keep talking, they'll try to stop you. If you keep engaging, they'll try to drain you. But if you say nothing and just keep building, they'll watch your silence become their regret. You don't owe them access to your thoughts. You don't owe them front row seats to your grind. Let them sit in the cheap seats and speculate. Let them whisper about the version of you they think they know. Because the version you're becoming, they'll never see it coming. So next time someone doubts you, smiles at your progress with fake support, or tries to distract you with noise, don't answer. Don't defend. Don't react. Just nod. Keep walking, and go even harder in silence, because the man who's truly rising doesn't wave at the crowd. He's too busy building the kingdom they said he could never own. If you live by this, write it now in the comments and make it your code. Let them doubt, I rise in silence. Say it again. Let them doubt, I rise in silence. This is your edge. This is your weapon. This is the art of becoming untouchable through silence. While they talk, you transform. While they guess, you grow. While they mock, you master. And by the time they realize what you've become, you'll be too far ahead to hear them. Now, if this entire message hit you deep, then this is your moment. Like this video right now if you're done wasting words. Comment the phrase, "My silence is my strength," one last time to declare your code. And if you're serious about living like a true Stoic, grounded, focused, feared, then subscribe to Stoic Mate right now. Turn on notifications, because this is where the noise ends and the real ones begin to rise, silently, powerfully, unapologetically. See you in the next one.